FTMO recently posted a video on their YouTube account with their reaction to one of my verification counts that I recently completed. Let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what they were talking about.
So I'm pretty excited about this one because this is from one of our long time.
This is pretty interesting. When I was submitting my verifications for them to review, they asked me for a little blurb just to ask me about how my strategy works and everything like that. And so I just gave them a little thing, but I wasn't really sure how they were going to implement it. I think this is the first one where they were doing this, and I think it's really cool that they're doing that. And that's basically the premise or the backbone of my strategy. Of course, it's not quite that simple, but that's the main theory behind it.
FTMO funded traders, so that's pretty great. Since this is a past verification, this will make a fine addition to his collection of FTMO accounts. And yeah, here we go. So
I currently have two FTMO accounts. I had one before, but unfortunately no longer have that one. So currently have 200,000 in AUM.
The balance curve is really nothing that interesting all that much. He made some nice profit here, then lost it actually, and then he just went up from there.
So this main loss that he's referring to, all that is just one trade working slightly and then another trade not working out. This happens all the time. It's really not a big deal.
Now regarding the trading objectives, there is really nothing that unusual. He didn't go really into that huge of a loss, just this much, and like that's completely fine. And I think that I already said this.
So going into $1,300 of maximum daily drawdown from each new high, at least in my opinion, is really impressive, because what that means is that I only had 1.3% maximum drawdown from each new high. Of course, that you're only trying to get 5% in this challenge from each new high, though, and I think that was one of my strengths in this verification that I had. Really, really cool there.
But if your trading is looking kind of boring, that may be a good indicator that you are doing it right. Now actually he made just 16 trades using 170 lots, and that's a huge volume on the low number of trades.
Yeah, that's right. I did only use 16 entries, separate entries. That's not total entries. And then I had about 177 total entries. Now, the reason why that number sounds like a lot is it's not actually lots. So the way that the broker works is that I actually end up using 177 approximately SP500 entries. And each entry in my broker is counted as a lot. Just for a quick reference, had I used the US 30, which of course has above a 99% on average correlation with the SP500, if I would have used that instead, I would have used about 1/8 as many entries, since it moves 8.38 times as fast on average, which would only be 22 entries, and they would have said only 22 lots there. It wouldn't have been any more safe or any more dangerous to do that. It would have just been not quite as exact, which is why I actually ended up preferring the SP500 over the Dow, even though it's more total lots.
Trades. His win ratio is over 90%.
One more thing really quickly, just want to put this even more into perspective. So if I had 177 SP500 lots, I looked this up, and the average point of my verification was on April 8th. And during April 8th, the approximate value of SP500 was $2,700 per entry, which in other words, I essentially used the equivalent of about $477,900 total dollars among all my trades. That's counting leverage. So that's only 4.7 times leverage in total among all trades, among all days. Had they all have been SP500. And that only equates to about 4.78 EU lots. So had I been using EU to get the same amount of total dollars under management, under flow with the leverage, it would have only been a 4.87, which would have been extremely low leverage, and definitely would have been the least in this video the one he's talking about.
And his risk-reward ratio is under 1, so that's 0.5. But you know, this can be a little bit misleading.
The main reason why, I think he's about to cover it, but the main reason why the RR, or the average RR, was so low is because at the end of the challenge, I just did a couple of trades to make a very small amount of profit, which definitely lowers the RR quite significantly. And those are just to complete the challenge days.
Since he made just 16 trades. Regarding the daily summary, truly he made some nice profit in the beginning, then he made some loss, which is not really that great, but it is not that much, so that's good. And then he basically just made some profits and made some trades just to get those minimum trading days.
I like how he really quickly goes over just made some profit when that's the full amount that I had to make for the entire challenge. I think it was over the course of 2 different, maybe even 3 different days. I ended up making nearly the entire $5,000 required to win this challenge, or this verification. Just something interesting I saw from that.
And part of the strategy of this trader is to trade mostly indices, and that's what he did. He traded just S&P 500 and actually a little bit of Dow Jones. Well, not necessarily here, but I know that this trader is trading indices.
So that was really interesting. I actually didn't trade US 30 to trade US 30. I just saw that there was a good, essentially what's called a semi-arb opportunity. It's where, because I know that the 2 indices are so correlated, if I see one moving quite a bit and the other one hasn't moved yet, but it looks like it's about to move, I'll enter the one that looks like it's about to move rather than the one that's already moved. And then I'll just use, in this example, a 1 entry lot on that one for the US 30. And I was only aiming for a small amount of profit just to keep up the positive trade total. So only made 50 cents on there. And that was actually my take profit, I believe, that was hit for those 50 cents.
He didn't really specialize on buying or selling. He did both and made a little bit more on selling. And yeah, pretty much just trading those indices. So yeah, this is it for this trader. You know, I'm pretty happy for this FTMO trader since he is trading quite nicely. He is making some nice profits. So he will make even more now.
So that was really nice of him to say. So basically what happens now is I won 2 different challenges. So that's why I now have 200,000 to use for this. And essentially what he's referring to is I'm assuming that he already has seen my other account. If you're not following me on Instagram, every now and then I'll post updates on how I'm doing with the 2 live accounts. So far, I'm doing pretty good for how shortly I've had the accounts. It's last time I checked, it's around 3,000 or 4,000 in the positive in total. So again, I just got those accounts, so hopefully it'll end up being a little more than that by the end. But that was really interesting. I'm so thankful for FTMO for this opportunity, both for the challenges in the first place as well as for evaluating my verification accounts. And if you haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking out their YouTube channel as well as the challenge itself. I'll have a link to that in the description, and I'll also have the link in the description for my brand new course where I'm teaching you how to use Elliott Wave Strategy as the entire VVS Academy Strategy, all in a whole, all in one package. It's on sale right now. We haven't even launched the full course yet. It's on pre-sale. So if you get a head start in this, we do give you a little bit of benefits, and it's looking like it's going to be a really, really fun ride from here. I hope to see you in the next video.